Hey, I'm Mike Thompson, and tonight you're going to meet this guy, Matt Law, with this guitar and a whole bunch of great songs right here on Radio Cosmos Live.
Satellite online.
Transmitting from the third move from the sun. You have tuned into Radio Cosmos.
Hey, this is Mike Thompson, and we are back here at Studio 812 with my man, Matt Law has come in. Thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
To join us. Tom Hoots is riding the desk tonight, since Calvin, Big Al, is
Gone.
eating.
Gone.
He's eating. He just left.
He's gone.
He's had enough.
He's had enough of you.
Anyway.
He's had enough of me. He just
He'll
said,
probably come
I'm
stumbling in here a little while, tell us how good the food was. But that's not why we're here. We are here to hear some music and talk to Mr. Matt Law. Kind of the thing we do here to start with is a little bit about your background, you know, where you came from, and how that kind of fits into your music you write.
Wow. Big influences when I was growing up were probably the Beatles, the Stones, Dylan, 70s singer-songwriters, 60s garage band. You know, a lot. I'm almost 58, so a lot of the same influences my peers had. Maybe a little more advanced because I had an uncle that was 8 years older than me and an uncle that was 10 years older than me. So I got all their hand-me-down records.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty big music education.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, especially when you have older people in your family, you know, because you get not just that little time, because we follow our time slip through till we get to be about, I don't know, into high school, then we kind of stop and quit listening to everything after that sucks, no matter when it was.
Right.
And just in my case, it's true.
Right.
But, you know, you get that, you know, where
Sure.
do these guys come from?
Sure.
So you get a little more of
Sure.
now, what part of the country did you grow up in? You were Panama City, Northwest Florida?
My
kinda
family,
guy,
my mom and dad went to high school here. I didn't move back here until 86, but I've been playing here,
Okay.
playing and singing here ever since. Been in a bunch of bands since 86.
Yeah.
College bands, bar bands. Currently doing a duo with my wife.
Okay.
We're Love Truck. You can find Love Truck on
Love
Facebook.
Truck.
Love Truck. And I played bass for the Ruckus and played with 4th Street Band with Kurt McCarthy and Ashley Feller and Steve Henley. Played with
Love those guys.
played with Ron Merritt for many years in Plastic Cactus and Turtlefoot. I've been in as many as 4 or 5 bands at a time, but right now I'm just doing the solo act and a duo with my wife.
During all those times, were you writing music, or is this
Yeah,
more of something you've...
always writing music,
Yeah.
you know, but not always performing original music, you know.
Well, for a long time around here, there just wasn't a venue
Yeah,
for it.
there really
was,
wasn't.
so-
And you can
which is one reason we kind of put this show together.
Yeah,
was to
you
kind
can-
of-
you can work in a few original songs in between, you know, the
There's
songs they know, but
Do you find there's more of a need, more of a desire for original music, say in the
There
last 2 or 3 years?
there seems to be in the last few years when I get a bigger more requests for original stuff and a better reception for original stuff as opposed to you know,
Wagon wheel.
the typical stuff that they ask for in bars, you know.
Yeah. Very good. Very
So
good.
how is your version of Freebird?
Yeah, I can't do it on TV.
Okay, that's good.
It involves hand gestures.
Okay.
You have to have 3 more guitar players with
Right.
you to do it. So now, would you say that you came from a musical background? Was your family musical? Was it something you grew up in?
My great granddad was on the radio. He was part of the singing letter carriers, a group where they were all singing mailmen, and I think they did barbershop style stuff, but they were on the radio in the 30s and 40s.
I think
And
I'm hearing the next big production at WKGC or GCSCTV.
Hmm. Exactly.
Now, this wasn't something that ladies would hire for weekends in Vegas. Kind
no,
of.
no,
Okay,
no, it wasn't.
just
It
checking.
wasn't that kind of thing. It
Not
was
that kind of singing.
They were on the radio, and then my great uncle, my grandmother's little brother, always played guitar, and that's where I get that from. I think I had another uncle that was a drummer, and if I hadn't played guitar, I would have stuck with the drums. But drums are kind of boring to play by yourself, so.
And it's hard to do solo gigs at a bar with a set of drums.
Right, they just
It's
don't.
possible, but it's
Now,
difficult.
I know a couple guys that do that, but
Hit the
it's
tape
not
button.
not my thing. Yeah.
That's the next show for. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so excuse me. So what I'm hearing is a lot of influences from a lot of different styles
Sure,
of music, different
sure.
places, and one thing I've noticed, and I haven't heard a lot of your original songs, but a lot of them I heard all seem to have a pretty healthy sense of humor, kind of tucked into them.
Yeah, I try to be entertaining as well as thought provoking. People
Right.
like to laugh.
Yeah, well, and that was the other thing. It wasn't like they're silly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got a little
Yeah,
message
not-
under the
yeah.
under the glossy humor.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a little.
I'm not
You know.
Ray Stevens by any stretch, but
Yeah. Now, is that something you do on purpose, or is that just your personality?
I
coming
think it's
out,
just
or-
I don't purposely set out to be funny when I'm writing
Uh-huh,
songs, but
yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it just falls out.
No, I think, and that's why it works. I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not Ray Stevens, which God bless him. I
Right.
left at the street too.
Right. Well, it's funny stuff.
But
But he kind of pigeonholed himself as
yeah, and
a
it's kinda
novelty.
dated, yeah. So of course he pigeonholed himself to a career.
That's true. It's a good paycheck.
Not a bad
It's
pigeonhole.
a good
to be
paycheck.
in, but-
Ray was okay.
But I have my artistic
Sure.
integrity.
We haven't pigeonholed you yet.
Yes. I think I've been pigeonholed several times, actually. But that's beside the point. So living in Panama City, right? Family, we get a lot of different sounds down here, a lot of New Orleans influence.
Sure.
And the Alabama kind of, I always use Little Feat as an example
Right.
because I really don't even know what to call it. It's kind of that swamp funk rock
Yeah.
kind of music.
Yeah, Little Feat is a good
which
melting pot of
I
a
should
band.
come up with a name for. I'm sure there's a name
Right.
for it, but I don't know what it is.
Well, Americana is so overused, and it can be so many,
and that's also
so
kind
many
of folky,
things.
but
Yeah.
so it's a little more southern, but it's not really southern rock. Anyway, which is a cool conglomeration
Sure.
of sounds, and I think it's something we get here that you don't really, if you go further south, you don't get it, and maybe up in Alabama you do some, I guess, but I think this region has an interesting mix of music. And do you find yourself again? I'm fascinated with the creative process. So, is this something where do you think that way? Do you think like, man, I really want to get kind of this little bit of Cajun feel to it, a little Zydeco, or is it more, I just have an idea and it just fits what I'm thinking at the time, and that style comes out.
I really like the Delta blues guys, the first generation of Delta blues guys, and then the second generation with the Chicago blues like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, and the prototype rock bands. The template for rock bands that Muddy Waters came up with, and I like that feel of those early blues guys, predominantly the acoustic ones, but some of the early electric guys were really interesting. And then I get the Beatley influence and the singer songwriter influence. Sometimes I pick up a guitar, I don't know what's going to come out. It's just.
Now, in general, is that how you write music? You just kind of sit down, or is it something? Do you hear it in your head and try to capture it at some point, or do you sit down and work it?
I carry a notebook, and sometimes you'll hear a line or a turn of a phrase, or somebody will put words together in a way that catches your ear, and usually a lot of songs get built around that. Or sometimes I'll just say, I'll put three words together, and it just sounds like the beginning of a song,
Like,
a
what
verse
if
of a song. You know,
a 20th century fascist had a pontoon boat?
So
You could build a song.
that could
you
be.
could build a song around
Sure,
that.
sure. Yeah, anything's possible.
Anything. So, okay, that's really cool because I know a lot of people. It's funny. I ask everybody that comes on some version of that question,
Right.
And about 90% of them say, "Not that you're not unique, sir," but kind of that same thing. That it's
Yeah.
just I get this little nugget
Something will catch.
because I'm always fascinated with the people that are able to sit down. Like I'm going to sit down and write a song.
Right.
And it doesn't
I-
sound like it's just turning a big crank. You know, it comes out with some soul.
I don't
You
think
know?
I've ever
Yeah, 'cause I'm
ever
not
sat
capable of
down
that,
to
yeah.
to consciously today I'm going to write songs.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work like that. And I'm not above taking. The Beatles were really good at this. They would take 2 or 3 songs, bits and pieces of songs that weren't really fleshed out, that they never really did anything with, and John and Paul would meld things. So I'm not above editing stuff, using lines from a song that I didn't use, but then revisiting because they were good lines, but maybe they didn't fit in the previous song, but maybe I can fit them into this
wonderful
song.
bridge.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's always funny because you're kind of like, man, I really like that line, that phrase or whatever, and that really should be its own song, but I just can't ever make it work.
Right.
But it would fit here. So on one side, I'm like,
And-
great, and on the other side, you're like, yeah, am I really telling that one short?
But if it don't fit, don't force it.
No,
you know,
yeah.
you can't make something work. It either
Not
works or it
well.
doesn't. And the best songs just kind of fall out.
Yeah,
And you're just
yeah.
you're just holding the pen.
Absolutely.
You know.
So yeah, I find that a lot of times just the things that flow, and you might rewrite them later and
Right.
fix a couple lines and
Right.
or change it completely. But
Sure.
just you get in that zone and just let it go, and the
Yeah.
songs, a lot of ways, write themselves.
Yeah. I've written some songs that have never seen the light of day just because I had to get them out, and wrote fully, fleshed them out, played them, sang them, and then okay, you can
Yeah.
put that to the side and maybe never do anything with it, or maybe revisit it, at a later time, and it'd be more entertaining to you, or
Yeah, I was totally different. I was listening to or on the subject, but a totally different approach. A guy was talking about writing and stuff, and his kids like to write, so they would come to him and say, and I don't know how old they were, but it sounded like they were younger, younger kids, and they would want to tell him this whole idea behind the story, and he would tell them, "Stop, don't tell me, go write it." Because if you tell me about it, then you kind of have a sense of accomplishment that you've told the story, but you haven't really done anything. It's just you just told me and it's gone. So it's kind of the same thing with music. Don't tell me about the song. Go write the song, and then once you've done it, you know what you got, and you can do what you want with it.
right.
Which is kind of an interesting way of looking at the same idea.
Yeah, every song is a document. You know, once you write it down, it is its own entity, which is a pretty cool thing.
Okay, so do you find that you get these things in your head, and I heard you kind of mention you kind of work it out,
Right.
that they're distracting, and you kind of need to flesh them out and get them done, and then once they're out, they're kind of gone. Not you've forgotten it, but it's like, okay, it's
Right.
not kicking around my brain anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a hook that you got to use, or an opening line, or a chorus just out of nowhere, and so you write that stuff down. Like I said, I carry a notebook, so be careful what you say. You might end up in a song.
That sounds like a song right there.
Hey. Wait a minute.
We
Let me
get a
write
writing
thi-
credit.
let me write this down.
We get a writing credit.
Let
on
me write this down.
that. Well, I noticed that you have a little bit of artwork on you, and most importantly, though, is the Rickenbacker logo you have on the inside of your arm there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of their guitars and basses.
Now,
I
I
have
know
a few.
you played bass for a long time. Is that was it 2001?
Yeah, it's 4001 or
4000.
4003.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a 4001, 4003. I've also got a 3001.
So is that I'm a bass player too, sort of. So we're going to geek out on that just for a minute if you don't mind.
They're-
But since it's tattooed on your arm, I bet you don't mind.
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
So now, because that's a interesting instrument. That it's a very physical instrument.
It is.
You know what I mean, but
Yeah.
it is a little awkward, balance
Yeah,
wise.
they're big and heavy.
It's a big
and long.
fat neck,
Mhm.
and you have to work to play
is.
it. I personally have I've always wanted one, but I don't think I'd ever play one very well because I don't like big necks, and it's just
The neck is the neck width of a Rickenbacker bass is halfway between a Fender Precision bass and a Fender Jazz bass.
right. See,
It's
learned
wider
on
than a Jazz, but narrower than a.
Yeah, because see, like for me, a
P-bass.
Precision's too wide too. I mean, I can play it, but I just don't. I like a little skinny Jazz A neck.
I can't play on a Jazz bass because it's just
It's too
it's
skinny,
too
right?
skinny.
Yeah.
It feels like a banjo to me.
Yeah, I think I learned on that
Right.
neck and just everything after. That's like people play
Right.
like 5-string bass. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't see
6-string.
it.
Just get a guitar.
I have 4 fingers.
Yeah,
There are 4 strings on a bass. It just seems
I can do that math.
Yeah, it works. It works for me. Now I have some friends that are great bass players that play 5 and 6
Absolutely.
and
I
7
w- and
string
frankly,
basses.
I wish I could.
And that's
but
cool.
yeah.
But I'm quite content. I don't own any 5 strings. I think I have a dozen basses, and they're all 4-string basses.
Well, I think in the '90s, so much of that stuff went that drop D.
Oh, sure.
So it's
sure.
nice to have that extra string,
Yeah,
so
that
you
extra
don't
little
have to drop your D.
I-
to go with. But other than that, I mean, remember your role.
Yeah.
You don't need all those strings.
Yeah, and I'm not a tweedly deedly bass player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can appreciate what people like Jaco Pastorius and Les Claypool, bass players like that. But to me, the bass players that probably influenced me the most were like Carol Kay and the Wrecking
Yeah.
Crew. She played on
Everything,
thousands of records.
yeah.
She's wonderful, but tasteful.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
not all over the place. She's serving the song and not serving herself. James Jamerson from Motown, do only what serves the song.
Right.
And you're basically just locking in with the drummer and telling the guitar player where to go. You're walking up to things and walking down from things. You are the guiding, energy.
I'm going to pick out the chords. You pick the chord you want on top of what I'm giving you, and that's
Right.
in jazz, where they're doing a lot of that improvisation
Right.
and bouncing off each other. They do that, that kind of thought process. But I think the interesting thing you pointed out there was you picked out 2 session guys, or a session lady and a session guy.
Yeah.
And in a session, you're not standing out front. You're not Billy Sheehan going, which is
no.
very impressive.
Great bass player,
But
but
again, you're not talking about band people in general. You're
Right.
talking about people that are like the Wrecking Crew.
Or
your
ducking-
job is to walk in
yeah.
and lay the best track that fits this
Right.
piece of music for someone else to perform.
Right, like Doug Dunn from the Blues
Yeah,
Brothers band, and
amazing.
played with Steve Cropper and the Stax Volt guys. He
yeah.
played on thousands of records.
Yeah.
Just like Carol Kay and just like James Jamerson and the Studio Cats, they were where it's at. They laid the foundation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and and I can understand why if you're in a band, you don't think that way.
Right.
Because you're, I won't say self-serving, but you're playing, and then there's other people like we talked about are the star performer.
Right.
Jocko.
Right.
I
I'm
mean,
not
he
a
was with
showy.
Weather Report, but he would
Yeah.
walk out front, and of course
Yeah.
you're talking about jazz.
I'm not a showy bass player, but
Yeah.
I'm a solid bass player.
Well, and
I
that's
like to lock
really-
in with the drum and the drummer, and
It's amazing how
we
good
set
the
the
band
groove.
will sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always I hear jokes about drummers and bass players, and I said something recently that well maybe your band would sound better without a drummer and without a bass player.
Well, what I think about a lot of times. That's true. A lot of them would actually. Some of them. Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
That was a little catty. Sorry. But a lot of times when I'm playing in my little band, and everybody's dancing or whatever, the thought comes across my mind, they're not dancing to the guitar solo.
Mm-mm.
They're not dancing to the singer.
Mm-mm.
They're dancing to that drum bass,
It's the rhythm section
Yeah.
that makes them move their feet. I'm telling you.
head banging and booty shaking.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, how'd you like to go next door and pour a little bit of that rhythm on us?
Sounds good.
Beautiful. we're going to step over next door to the tracking room, and Matt is going to show you what it's all about. We'll be right back.
Oh, hey, Cosmos. Sorry I didn't see you there. This is Martin from the Recovery Room on Radio Cosmos every Friday night on WKGC 90.7 FM, and you are watching me watching Radio Cosmos Live.
All right, we're back here in Studio 812 at the old tracking room with Mr. Matt Law, and he's going to lay some tunes on us. What you got for us tonight, big man?
This first one is it's called Run For It. It's the first track on the CD that I recorded right here, Studio 812. Should be out sometime soon.
All right. Now, with this album that's coming, is there any kind of concept behind it, or is it just a collection of songs?
It's a collection of songs that I wrote. There's no real concept behind
Well,
it.
that was. I don't want to pigeonhole once again, your sound or anything, but man, that had a vibe of like an overture to a concept kind of thing, like a Who project or something. It kind of had that. From there it would slide into something.
One of the first records I ever got was Tommy by the Who. Oh, I'm sorry. One of the first records I got was Tommy by the Who, and I think Pete Townsend's guitar playing probably had an effect on me, especially the acoustic stuff, because he really flogged his acoustic guitar.
Not like you're ripping them off or anything.
Right,
just that
right,
same which is great. I mean, because
that always felt like a theme song to me.
Yeah.
I guess it's the theme to the Matt Law Show.
All right, here we are on the Matt Law Show, starring.
Yes,
Matt
with your
Law.
host, Matt Law.
With your host, Matt Law. Featuring.
Yes.
Matt Law. So very good though.
Thanks.
I'm excited about
Thanks.
that. Because I didn't know. I mean, I've heard your stuff, but I didn't know what kind of picker you were.
Right. I started out playing drums.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a pretty percussive rhythm player.
Yeah.
I don't mind flogging my guitar
Which
like
I
a
like.
rented mule.
Yeah, I like that.
And I finger pick too. I do a lot of in my solo show. I do a lot of Delta blues stuff, which is finger style. But I can do that too. It's just a different paintbrush to paint with. you know.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that goes back to, you can talk about those session guys being your kind of your influence.
Sure. Those guys had to do everything.
Yeah,
you know,
at the drop of a hat, they had to play
Right.
whatever style.
Right. This is a
And,
bossa
yeah.
nova. This is, you know, reggae. This is ska. This is blues. This is, you know, all those session guys. That was their paycheck.
Oh yeah, beautiful. What else you got for us?
I think I'm gonna do. This is pretty percussive. It's called "Tell Me."
All right, Mallow.
I've rehearsed the same scene in my mind just about 1,000 times, and no matter what I say, the scene comes out the same damn way. Tell myself that it's not right. Tell myself to sleep at night. Tell myself that we're just friends. I tell myself it's got to end. Does he give you everything you need? Is this how you thought that love would be? Tell me. Please tell me. Does it hurt to see me here with her, like it hurts to know you're there with him? Is this more than you bargained for? Is a happy act not wearing thin? Tell myself that it's not right. I tell myself to sleep at night. Tell myself another lie. Tell myself I will not cry. And does he give you everything you need? Is this how you thought that love would be? Tell me. Please tell me. Does he give you everything you need? And is this how you thought that love would be? Tell me. Please tell me. She's rehearsed the same scene in her mind just about 1,000,000 times. And no matter what she says, the scene comes out the same damn way. She tells herself that it's not right. She tells herself to sleep at night. She tells herself that they're just friends. She tells herself it's got to end. Does he give you everything you need? Does he give you everything you need? Is this how you thought that love would be? Tell me. Please tell me. Does he give you everything you need? Is this how you thought that love would be? Tell me.
All right. Yeah, you're working that thing. I like it.
Yeah. It's a good guitar.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little about that guitar.
It's a Gibson, it's a 2005 Gibson J100 Extra. Babinga back and sides.
Babinga.
It's an African, they call it African rosewood, but it's grown in Madagascar. It's beautiful, beautiful piece of wood. This has been my #1 stage guitar for a number of years.
Yeah, beautiful and unique. Sounds good.
Got
Sound-
a big
does
fat,
sound good.
yeah, big fat song,
Yeah.
big fat sound.
All right. What you got for us now, man?
This is Tom's. Apparently, Tom is Tom's favorite Matt Law. Well, maybe his second favorite Matt Law song. This is what he always refers to as my protest song. I was telling my first wife about the Gulf War, and it was one of those songs that just kind of fell out. when the Gulf War was on TV. She was like, I'm so sick of this stupid Gulf War being on TV. And, you know, the first Gulf War was only like 100 hours long.
Yeah.
But I told her, hell, when I was little, Vietnam was always on TV. And the light bulb came on. So I sat down and wrote down that first line, and the rest of the song just kind of fell out.
Well, it was very sterile and clean.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to present that it was very sterile.
It was our
and
first
clean.
TV war.
Yeah. But not Vietnam wasn't sterile.
Oh, yeah.
The Gulf War was, smart
yeah.
bombs. And
Oh, sure.
We're only getting the bad guys.
Right. No collateral damage at all.
Yeah. So that's reality.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to kill people, don't go to war. If it's not worth killing people, don't go to war.
Exactly right.
So
this is called Munitions Factory.
all right.
When I was little, Vietnam was always on TV. Walter Cronkite brought it home every night to me. We'd have it with our supper channel, 8 at 6 o'clock. It was a Technicolor travesty upon a magic box. My daddy made red fire trucks for the folks at FMC. But Mama got a job at the munitions factory. Yes, my mama got a job at the munitions factory. Now Walt would read the body count just like the baseball scores. It was better than Bonanza, our television war. Beat the man from Uncle, Gunsmoke and Gomer Pyle. Hell, those television cameras surely helped to bridge the miles. My daddy made red fire trucks for the folks at FMC. But Mama got a job at the munitions factory. Yes, my mama got a job at the munitions factory. My grandma read her Bible, said that killing's always wrong, while my mama made those mortar rounds, killed the Viet Cong. Yes, my mama made those mortar rounds, killed the Viet Cong. My friend Karen's daddy volunteered to fight the war. It sent home 2 white elephants, they sat beside the door. Counted down the days until her daddy would arrive. Well, they finally brought him home, but could not bring him back alive. My daddy made red fire trucks for the folks at FMC. But Mama got a job at the munitions factory. Yes, my mama got a job at the munitions factory. My grandma read her Bible, said that killing's always wrong, while my mama made those mortar rounds, killed the Viet Cong. Yes, my mama made those mortar rounds, killed the Viet Cong. Now if you go to Washington, you'll find a long black wall. Flowers there are watered as a bit of teardrops fall. Men whose names are written there can't tell you war is wrong. But I'd like to think they held my hand as I wrote down this song. My daddy made red fire trucks for the folks at FMC. Mama got a job at the munitions factory. Yes, my mama got a job at the munitions factory. My grandma read her Bible, said that killing's always wrong, while my mama made those mortar rounds, killed the Viet Cong. Yes, my mama made those mortar rounds, killed the Viet Cong.
All right.
That's a true story.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, it's funny because my grandparents. So my dad was he was actually in the Navy for like 26 years, but he kind of joined. He was before Vietnam and after Korea, just in his age where he
Right.
dropped in there.
Right.
So by the time Vietnam came around, he was in the Navy Reserve, so he didn't go. But my grandfather was at an age where he was too old to go to World War II. And he always just said, it was like, Grandpa, what'd you do during the war? He said, I went to the factory and built bombs to drop on Hitler. That's what he always said.
Everybody did their
Yeah,
bit,
so-
everybody.
But it's my grandpa, sweet
Yeah.
guy. So.
Yeah, my mom never thought about it that way. When I wrote this
Yeah.
song, it made her cry because she was putting, beans
on
on
the
the
table.
table.
Yeah, well.
That was it, My dad was painting fire trucks
Mm-hmm.
for FMC, and Mom was working at the Frankfurt Munitions Depot assembling mortar rounds.
Yeah.
I thought she made motors when I was little. I didn't realize till I was grown.
Mortars.
She made mortars.
Yeah.
She was making mortar rounds and sending them down the assembly line, and
Back
we
then,
were,
late 60s, good job's a good job.
oh, absolutely.
Gotta feed.
Yeah, this was,
that, yeah.
1967, 68,
Yeah.
Tet and all that. Country needed mortar rounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
If you're going to be in it,
that's
be
true.
in it.
Be in it all the way.
Be in it to win. What else you got over there?
I think I'm going to switch guitars real quick.
Okay. It's my spot, man. Yeah, this is becoming the Matt Law show. Just moving me right out. Not that that's a bad thing. Oh, nylon, smooth.
Yeah, I love this guitar. It was one of my customers brought this to me. A girl gave it to him in college, and he's a steel string player, so he never really played it. And he brought it in to me, and I just oohed and awed about how great it sounded after I put new strings on it. He said, "Man, you like it that much, you just keep it." So it's a 1962 Guild Mark I, best sounding classical guitar I've ever played. And when my youngest son was about 18, I offered him one of my guitars. I gave him a choice between a 59 Gibson and this 62 Guild. He said, "Oh, the Guild, of course." So, he picked this over a very nice 59 Gibson LGO. But once you hear it,
However, it seems to be back in your possession.
he's going to college. He's going to college right now, and it's just living at my house because he doesn't have room for all of his
So
guitars.
this is a studio guitar, buddy? And
Yeah,
it's just one just like you have.
Actually,
Dad didn't raid your
our
room.
friend Tom Hoots has one just like this.
Yeah. All right, what you got on that sexy piece of machinery?
This is, I wrote the song for a friend of mine's birthday.
Nice.
I wrote it for his 50th birthday, and he just turned 71. So I've been kicking this song around for a while. It's called Speed of Life.
Hey, when I turn 50, will you write one for me?
Sure.
Anyway.
It might not be good, but sure.
Yeah, hey. Yeah. Matt Law, Speed of Life.
Yes. Another lap around the sun. Another lesson left undone. Empty space there where my place should be. Is that all there is and nothing more to see? Just be careful on the ice. Traveling at the speed of light. At the speed of life. 'Cause you could slip and fall from grace, so fall for me. You could quickly lose your place, no longer see. You could lose your light and easily lose your way. You lose tomorrow just like you lost yesterday. Anyway, just be careful on the ice. Traveling at the speed of life. speed of life. At the speed of life. 'Cause yesterday it slips away, and tomorrow turns to day. Empty places where those faces used to see. Take your turn and try to learn what's yet to be, yet to be. Just be careful on the ice. Traveling at the speed of light, at the speed of life. 'Cause you could slip and fall from grace, so fall for me. You could quickly lose your place, no longer see. You could lose your light and easily lose your way. You lose tomorrow just like you lost yesterday. Anyway, just be careful on the ice. Traveling at the speed of light, at the speed of life. At the speed of light.
Yes, very nice. Very nice. That was a great one, man. I really like that track.
Thank
Yeah, it's got a cool vibe to it.
Thank you.
Very nice. And it really shows off the tone of that guitar, too.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
yeah, it's a monster.
Because it gives it
Sounds
that
so
kind of
good. Yeah, it's funny how
dreamy, soft, not
it's
so
funny
much
how
attack,
something
yeah.
with nylon strings can sound organic,
Yeah,
but that guitar really sounds woody.
yeah, sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a really
We got time for a couple more songs if you want to lay them on us.
Okay.
What you got?
This is a little finger style blues thing I do. I guess it's kind of inspired by Taj Mahal and the way he plays, but my friend Lawrence had this line in a song, I Got a Gal. His song is My Gal. And I just think that's such a great opening line. I got a gal. It's like woke up this morning.
Yeah.
It's just got that.
You can go anywhere you want with that, yeah.
So this is Rivertown Gal.
Rivertown Gal, Mr. Matt Law.
I got a gal, she live by the water. She's a pretty little thing, she got a pretty little daughter. But don't you know, she breaks my heart 1,000 times a day. She can dance and she can sing, she can do most anything. But when she come to visit, she never come to stay. And when I look into her big brown eyes, feel my heart swell double size. When she called my name, I swear to God I could hardly catch my breath. I can't eat, I can't sleep, I feel myself free falling deep. And when she smiles at me, scares me half to death. I got a gal, she live by the river, and she breaks my heart because I can't live with her. But she let me stop sometime and pass the day. We can eat and we can talk, sometimes we take a little walk. But when I come to visit, she never let me stay. And when I look into her big brown eyes, feel my heart swell double size. When she smiles at me, I swear to God I can hardly catch my breath. I can't eat, I can't sleep, I feel myself free falling deep. When she call my name, it scares me half to death. I got a gal, she live by the water. She's a pretty little thing, she got a pretty little daughter. But don't you know, she breaks my heart 1,000 times a day. She can dance and she can sing, she can do most anything. But when she come to visit, she never come to stay. And when I come to visit, she never let me stay. When she come to visit, she never come to stay.
All right. That's got that, that's that classic singer-song,
Yeah.
storyteller kind of
Yeah.
vibe. You
Yeah.
can just picture every little bit of that song.
Exactly. exactly
Yeah.
right.
Anybody in particular?
Oh, no.
Oh no.
No, that's
Nope.
a work of pure fiction.
All right, we got time for one more good one.
Okay.
Don't give us no
I'll do
slacky
one more.
one. Not that you have any. That are
This
slacky.
is a song called Spark, and like Tom and I were talking earlier. You can't unsee something, and you can't unsay something. You can say you're sorry. You can say you didn't mean it. You can say I won't say it again. But man, once you say it, you said it. It's out there, and they will never let you forget it.
All right, little life lesson with Matt Law. Check him out.
There it is now, there's no doubt. I laid it out for all to see. Put my heart out on a limb. So would you please not shake my tree? Known you for so very long. I've always thought that we'd be good. I hope you didn't take it wrong. Thought that it was understood. Some stones are better left unturned. You can't hold a spark 'cause you'll get burned. Some thoughts best kept in your head. Some things are better left unsaid. Well, now I see I've been the fool by the look there in your eyes. Though you tried to play it cool, I guess I should have realized that between us things have changed. Though you swear that it's not true, I treated love just like a game. The only thing I lost was you. Some stones are better left unturned. You can't hold a spark 'cause you'll get burned. Some thoughts best kept in your head. Some things are better left unsaid. I lie awake at night and hold her tight, but I think of you. Two wrongs can't make this right. There's nothing more for me to do. Well, there it is now, there's no doubt. I laid it out for all to see. It seems I've dug myself in deep. So would you please not bury me? Loved you for so very long. I bet that we would have been good. I hope you really like your song. I think at last I've understood. Some stones are better left unturned. You can't hold a spark 'cause you'll get burned. Some thoughts best kept in your head. Over and over, and some things are better left unsaid. Some things are better left on. Some things are better left unsaid.
All right, that's a good one, man.
Thank you.
You've been saving that one.
Yeah, that's going to be the big single.
That's gonna be the one that cracks the.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
The top
that
2000.
album ever gets. Never mind. Tom made me say that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Matt, where can people hear your music? What are all your .coms and all that kind of
You
thing?
can always look me up on Facebook. There are several Matt Laws, but I'm the one in Panama City. And
With the hat.
Yes. And my wife Valerie and I do a duo called Love Truck, and we have a page, so come see Love Truck. We'll be at Tap Room in historic and scenic St. Andrew this Sunday. Look for us at Tap Room or Little Village or Millie's or downtown St. Andrews.
I love all those places.
I try not to cross the bridge. There are enough people playing on that side of the bridge. I'm not going to add to that. So
We appreciate
I
that.
try to play to townies, not play all the stuff that people on the beach play.
Townies. That was like go for what was the name of that movie? Never mind. For the bicycles, and they had the townies, and never mind. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Thanks for coming in, Matt. Excellent work.
Thank you.
Excellent music.
Glad
and
to
I
be here.
can't wait to hear this album.
It's really good.
And get with your wife. Love Truck It Up. Because you guys are actually you're doing something with her too as far as recording, right? That's the plan?
That's the plan. Tom wants to get us in the studio to
Okay.
record some stuff, so
Well, as soon as you get that done, come on back over and we'll
Heck
have
yeah.
you back on.
we'll do it.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Always a blast. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for tonight. We will see you next week on Radio Cosmos Live.
I don't know. Actually, that's the first time that's been recorded.